What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vermont Scale Customs. Thank you for stopping by. So, MN82 has had plenty of bench time in the course of the last couple weeks. I think I've put about, I don't know, maybe 40 hours in on this thing, just kind of random detail work here and there. 370 motor sitting on an upgraded aluminum chassis. It got Enjoy oil shocks with the MN factory coils up front, and then I doubled the coils in the rear just to be able to handle the load. Little detail paint work and stuff like that all the way around. It's sitting on RC four-wheel drive Dirt Grabber 1.2 tires and Hobby Plus 1.2 stamp steel beadlocks. MN upgraded axles, a couple different little things done to those as well to kind of make them a little bit better. Painted all the parts that were red, have painted those black so it kind of looks a little more consistent underneath. What else? I think I said 370 motor, but that's also running on a 1625 right now. I do have a 1060 sitting around here that's ready to go in. I just kind of wanted to run it on this for a little bit and see how it goes. But really happy with this truck now that I've put some time in on it and had some chance to run it. So if you saw the last video of all the water crossing stuff, that was actually kind of after this. So this is like the trip down to the water. So I thought I would kind of put that one up first. I thought that had some really cool footage in it. Plus, not to mention, this is with the 3-axis gimbal mount, which strangely died within about 5 minutes after me getting down to the creek. So I switched over to doing a lot of like single camera placement stuff for that first video, which is why that video looks entirely different than this one does. I don't know what was going on. I guess maybe the thing didn't charge overnight or what happened, but I got there and had filmed 2 clips, and 2/3 of the way through like the second clip, all of a sudden the mount just dies and I couldn't get it to turn back on. So sometimes that forces a little different creativity out of me. That's kind of why I came up with that underwater shot, which I think is probably one of the cooler shots I think I've ever done in RC video making. I'll have to do some more of that stuff at another time. But the mount I think is cool just because it allows me to sort of do this follow cam work, you know, feeling like you're down below your buddy watching him do these lines and stuff like that, or following him up or whatever you want, you know. It's just good, I think, a great perspective, and that's also why I like slowing things down so it looks a little more realistic. And who doesn't like jumping their trucks? Come on. So I do get a little contact up in the wheel wells with these tires, but it's minimal. Doesn't seem to affect operation too much. They've got good compression. They are vented all the way around. The rims are vented, not the tires themselves. The rims come vented. They have brass inner rings and they already have holes in them. And I'm just running the stock foams from the RC four-wheel drive Dirt Grabbers. I have since installed the upgrade leaf, all metal leaf spring kit for this, and I can say that the truck actually is just that much better with the all metal ones on there. The plastic ones just didn't seem to have the rebound. Plenty of support, almost too much, which is why I took one of the leaves out. And this is running just the single plastic leaf and the single metal leaf. But with the all 3 metal leaves, which I've packed in there, the actual true leaf pack, it's considerably better. I highly recommend getting that modification. It's also cheap too. I think it's like less than $5 for the kit. So a worthwhile purchase for this if you are interested in keeping these leaf sprung. The shocks on this thing, I cannot tell you how much of a difference that has made. It really changed this truck all the way around. I liked it a lot before. I thought they did good with upgrading things and giving you some adjustability with the rears, with the preload. But they had the stock original shocks up front. And it just didn't like the fact that you didn't have adjustability with those. So I'd been looking at this truck for a while about how to get shocks on it. Finally figured it out. I ran it for a day or so with the factory springs on the front and realized it wasn't enough to keep the front supported. So I used the MN springs on the front, which kind of left the back sort of needing just a little bit more oomph. And then like I said, the 3-leaf spring pack kit showed up, And so those are now on the back, and I am 100% totally pleased now with how this thing rides. And it's doing really well in this video, don't get me wrong, I'm not displeased in any way, it's just now that much better. So, I happen to be really fond of this whole shot and this whole scene coming up. This very much reminds me of being back in Vermont, which is why I like this trail. This is the Potawatomi Trail. I will include a link in the description, a little bit about this trail, what it's all about, and the history behind the whole thing. And it's kind of like, it's just a nice place for me to go to, just because it kind of gets me away from all the hustle and bustle of the area. You don't really hear too many cars or anything down here. And it really does kind of remind me of being in Vermont in a couple of places. So, but little crawl sesh here. Some nice smoothed out river rock. Anyway, I like this truck a lot. I had done a talking review last, I think, December, somewhere in there. And had only run this thing in the backyard, had not taken it out and done any real trailing with it. And since I've made all of the upgrades to it and have made it look the way that it does and stuff, this is definitely one of my top 5 trucks in my collection in terms of like how I just like the thing, what it does, how it looks, just everything all across the board. It's by far my favorite WPL that I have running. That was my C54 once upon a time, but this one has completely kind of taken me, and just sort of wanted to focus all of my attention on this one, you know, with WPL, MN stuff moving forward. So you'll probably see quite a bit of this truck. So if you recall, if you saw the last video, if not, go ahead and click back and you can watch that one as well. You notice that there's no set of tracks here. This is the first run through this, and it gets muddy. I just wanted to see if I could get it muddier. It made it all the way through this. It's the clip after this, which is not in this video, which is the opening clip of the other one, which is why this feels out of sequence, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I saw the spot and saw what kind of mud that it was. It had kind of a little bit of a soft upper texture to it. It was absolutely perfect. I couldn't ask for any better scale mud. I really have to hand it to MN for doing this model. I don't know if they got together with Killer Body or what they did to scale down the molds for this, but this really is an exact replica of, you know, the 79. It looks exactly like the Killer Body version, same dimensions, same detailing, everything all across the board. There's really not much, if anything, that they missed. The only thing they missed originally was putting the wipers on this, which I added my own. So if I'm not mistaken, they are oriented on the wrong side in terms of where the pivot point's at. I made do with what I had at the time. I think they look fine. If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know any better. A note on that too, the WPL wipers were a little short, so I just took like zip tie pieces and glued them on to make them longer. Anyway, if you're still here, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, listening to me ramble on about this truck, watching it drive, blah blah blah. Anyway, once again, thank you for being here. Take it easy out there. Hope you get out and run some trucks. And we will see you on the next one. Take it easy.